Yeah, so that was definitely the main character's first big out. There was no turnaround point. There was no survival. Well, survival. There was no survival chance if he stayed in the fight. Rather, like it was not looking good for any of them that were around that whole situation. So like it's good that they pulled out. It's good that they left. Now, when you look at like how things are going to go from here, obviously there's like a turning around point. But like this chapter mostly we got stuff on Ura, which I think made sense with Kaido pretty much just being unconscious for like the first big chunk until he ends up coming back. I thought his whole thing talking to her about like with manga and stuff made a lot of sense because I never really considered the fact that both of them have these issues with their fathers. I'm betting that with Ura, she's like her thing is more of a misunderstanding where obviously like Maro's dad was like a straight abusive drunk, so there's just kind of there's gaps to those two things. Also, as a side thing, looking at what like she was capable of while she was moving at that speed, she like literally rips through some of the yokai. Yokai. I just did my Doron review, so it's like they one is Mononoke and one is yokai. I don't know the difference from a lore standpoint, so I have no idea like really how to gotta like differentiate them outside of just trying to remember the specific wording in the series. But she's like ripping through them, so like, and she's creating shockwaves. So I'm betting she's like probably like traveling at like somewhere close to like Mach 1, I would assume, if she's making these big shockwaves just moving through. Like you see chunks of a car get ripped off, like there's tires like coming off it. So like the speed has to be enough that just passing by it is enough to rip apart all of the stuff. Like I don't think there's anything that actually says anything about like a sonic boom, but it wouldn't surprise me just based off of again that crazy speed that she was outputting. And again, I think it's because I don't know anything about like well, not anything. I know, like I said, I know a handful about like yokai and like Mononoke, only a little bit from what I've seen in fictions and stuff. It's I haven't researched them in depth. So I don't really know what a lot of these characters are going to be able to do because obviously their abilities and stuff are based off of the creatures from mythology that they're are in reference of. And this dude 10, like his power is like to move through ceilings, which there's like a comment about like he's like trying to say it's not very good, but when she says like it's useful in a pinch, I'd say it's like useful in most situations. That's a pretty good power. It's not a combat ability, but it's like one of those ones that is you could be in most scenarios and you'd be like, yeah, there's probably some value. There's some value to kind of like, essentially like, not the same thing, but essentially like a type of spatial movement. You're connecting 2 points and you're moving between them, which is pretty cool. I do like that because it gives them a travel thing. He says they have to be connected, but I mean, it makes me wonder like if he's like, say he's in a mall, if he goes into a ceiling, would he be able to come out at any ceiling in the whole building because all the roofs in the building are connected? I would assume so. I assume that it's just like he can't go into one ceiling and then appear in a building completely elsewhere. Maybe that's something he can do later, but I don't really know. As far as we know, though, from what he said, it's just the ceiling thing. So I assume that we're not going to get him with like long range teleporting. Plus, that'd be a little bit too OP to have at the start of the series. For this kind of situation and for their group. We see some flashbacks and stuff, about her father, but also about Maruo's father. And like Ten's saying, like since he's woke up, he's just reading manga, and I get like more so why when he like talks about it later. Like there's always going to be stuff in the back of your head that you think you've gotten over it, and even if you have gotten over it, mostly there's always going to be that fraction of it there that just kind of like taps at the back of your mind to get your attention and tries to stir up bad emotions and bad thoughts. But reading manga, getting yourself immersed into a story you enjoy, you can say the same thing for other types of entertainment mediums, but obviously for him it's manga. It's going to these stories that helps him keep his mind away from these things, which I actually really liked because it took like it's a shonen main character who's inspired by shonen main characters. But that aspect of him is from the standpoint of a reader, not even like a manga reader, just like people who are, not even like a reader, just like people who get immersed in story to not think about, either things that stress them out in one way, shape, or form. which I like. I thought that was a really good humanizing moment for him. That does also a good job connecting him and Ura. At the end of the chapter, because a lot of the stuff about the chapter was stuff that I already like. I knew that he wasn't going to abandon her, and like we know that like he clearly is going to stay with her. They already had the whole like the trading of the sake cups, so it's like they're tight now. They're bound together, and he's not just going to walk away because of some small issue if he already got in this deep. Plus, we know he wants to fight all these yokai and stuff. The thing at the end of the chapter, though, is what was to me the most intriguing. Because Aurora on her back, has her Yakuza tattoos. I know, like, I really actually want to know, like, in terms of Yakuza, like, what is the determining factor for certain things? Like, is it for the group they're in? I guess it really would probably depend on who's in charge and who determines, like, what their group style is. That probably would make the most sense to me. But she's got, like, this whole floral pattern design on her back, and then we have Morrow getting the same thing, because now he's like actually part of her. He's more so part of her Yakuza family now than how he was previously. But I'm wondering, because like she waves her hand and it appears. So is it like not only that, like hers gets bigger. Hers looks like it gets bigger after like she gets this. So will this have any connection between the two that gives Morrow some form of powers? I've mentioned in the last couple of reviews, the fight that he just had, it wouldn't have really mattered unless something happened that scientifically let him hit this opponent. There was nothing he could do because his power is literally just brute force. So a character who's intangible, how is he supposed to hit him? Unless he gets some form of power later that lets him actually do that. Any character in the series that's intangible like that, he's just going to immediately defeat him, unless he does something like activates the sprinkler so the water messes with this guy's power so he can't phase properly or something. It's one of those things where there's an outside source that plays a part into how they're actually able to do anything to these characters, whereas like right now he can't do anything. So maybe we'll see something next. Maybe he'll get some form of power in relation to whatever yokai Aurora is. So we could see like maybe some form of cool energy around his arms, or maybe he'll have like some like dark fur arms and kind of have like almost like this weird. I guess I can't even really say like what it would kind of be like in comparison and like wording, so I don't know exactly what Aurora is. But it's some weird wolf-like yokai claws, like punching, like almost like a yokai selective transformed werewolf or something. I think that'd be really cool, or whatever she's supposed to be. Something obviously that adds to him and makes it so he's able to be more capable when it comes to fighting these other yokai. But outside of that, comment below. Tell me your thoughts about this chapter. It was a short read chapter to me, because like a lot of stuff I figured was like I knew that like Mara wasn't gonna be like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave. I didn't get the full picture, so I don't want to. No, he's not gonna do that. And I like the stuff with 10. I thought his like neat little extra kind of side character stuff to see him get supplies was good. Gives him some character value. Anyway, on that, like I said, comment below. Thumbs up the video if you like, subscribe, and check out my other videos. From that, appreciate you. Sorry, subscribe, and thank you for listening. Bye.